Bishop Nehru's Neruvia, My Disregarded Thoughts. This is this year's release. It is 13 songs, 48, almost 49 minutes long. And I kind of want to call this. I mean, the first Elevators album was called Elevators Act 1 and 2. I would call this Elevators Act 3 and 4.
For sure.
But
the second half is a lot different than the first.
Yeah, and the main reason why is a similar to Elevators Act 1 and 2. With 1 and 2, Jay Electronica produced the first act, and then MF Doom produced all the songs in the second act. On this one, Bishop Nehru on his own mostly produced the tracks in the beginning, which is Colder until 2 Lost. And then Act 2 or of this, or like Act 4,
yeah, 350 in
calling it, is 350 in LA and down. And there, Bishop Nehru, I think mercifully, invites other producers to come on and kind of give their spin on Bishop Nehru, give Bishop Nehru a couple of different types of beats to work with so that Bishop Nehru can combine his lyrical talents that have grown and continued to kind of grow in this case, to kind of have that canvas to show themselves and be.
The first track, Colder, it does that little intro thing that Elevators did.
Literally the same tone.
To my mind, I'm like, oh, this is like the 1975 opener, but at least the 1975 changed it a little bit here or there. That like literally, I put it on.
The name.
Yeah, exactly. But they put it on, and I'm like, wait, am I? I literally looked at my phone. Is this the right album? Okay, yeah, I'm not tripping balls for a second. Okay. And then Colder, deadass sounded like it belonged in Elevators for sure. That song, I like it a lot. I like it as an opener. But it had that sound of it. In My Zone is where the first one you get that trap beat more, which is he experimented a lot with that throughout this album, and I do like it. It grew on me when it first came out as a single at the end of last year. I was like kind of iffy about it, but now in the context of the album, I understand it a little bit more, and I am starting to like it.
It's been a theme with albums this year.
Yeah,
like the singles kind of are like
Incubus did the same thing, like it because I think the theme and everything of a lot of different albums now, especially in 2020, they're so broad or they're either very broad or they're very specific depending on the album. And these songs, when they get released as singles, don't necessarily fit into anything that you're thinking of within that artist. And the same thing with Bishop Nehru, because I never really heard him do too much within the trap. And I'm like, what is he doing with this? And now it makes sense in it. Anyways, Why Does the Nice Guy Talk to Me is okay.
The thing I can just combine my critiques of Act 1 and most of Act 1 in this thing.
Yeah.
I really wish Bishop Nehru would have made a shorter album and like cut most of Act 1 and released it as an EP, because like the songs aren't necessarily wholly bad, but it just feels like these songs at the top were stuck together. And it's a thing that Bishop Nehru kind of does. I've noticed that his albums, like, they kind of begin with like the moody, more emotional, like heavy kind of songs in the beginning, and then like the funner beats are kind of in the middle and wrap it out near the end.
Yeah.
And, or like
relatively. Yeah.
Generally, I mean, it happened with Elevators. It happened with Neruvia EP. It's happened with Neruvian Doom. It's happened with even some like the side
Emperors,
projects.
Yeah.
Emperor Neru's New Groove. I'd say it was similar. And so like Little Susie Be Okay is this really long song, and I think of this brand of song where like he's doing this sort of like communication to another person who is down, which is a theme he's done in a lot of his songs. It's the best one he's done. So I don't want to take that away, but I just feel like it shouldn't have been on this album and could have just been like a drop that was released a little bit later. Because once you get with starting 350 in LA kind of down, I think like Bishop Nehru, you can actually see where he's growing as an artist.
For sure.
Super helpful with the having different producers and inviting different production on there. That helped a lot to do that. But I think it was either on 350 in LA or Emperor where he plays along with like almost a Kendrick Lamar flow in a little bit of it.
Emperor.
Yeah.
Because 350 in LA, I didn't actually really like 350 in LA because the production of it, I know it's purposely for it, but it sounded like it was like 240p, like the drums and everything in the background. And just for my personal taste, I always hate it when artists do that because I like crisp, clean production. That's just a personal preference.
Yeah, and a lot of people just like play, like, to be real, a lot of people just like play ratchet shit outside of their ratchet speakers. And so if you play music that already sounds muffled out of bad speakers, it sounds like unlistenable.
Yeah. So 350 in LA was, I didn't really like it. Emperor, fuck, that goes hard. That's a really good song.
Emperor goes really hard. On my later listens, I was like, I'm not sure if I like the way the sample was chopped up. I think you could have done more pitching with the voices to give it some sort of I guess variety than just having sort of the two pitches that it has in it. But yeah, it is a really hard song, and it shows like it's a sort of like a next level sort of jump for Bishop Nehru.
Which one does he go more into a jazzy funk beat? Is it Our Energy is Astral or All of My Years? There's one song that
it's
in
sort
that
of
second,
both, but Our Energy is Astral. It's like a full sort of like it
It's
almost
'cause
sounds
it's
like Lil
totally
Uzi Vert at times.
It's very different when I listen to it. I'm like, whoa, I did not expect that at all. Where, yeah, it's cool. That's actually, it was funny because I thought, because a lot of the trap production in this, there's a couple songs in there, like Me and My Thoughts, Carefree Black Boy. Those are the more trappy beats. But compared to like Lil Uzi Vert, this is on a next level compared because the production and everything else and the lyricism in this, the lyrics in this are on a whole different playing field than in previous albums that I've listened to this year.
Yes,
for that part at least.
Yes. Getting to the end and then to like wrap up, Carefree Black Boy is my favorite one. Just because I think he tries with this. He tries with a really trappy beat. This is a different producer working on this, and it just shows Bishop Nehru doing something that's a little bit different, a lot more contemporary, a lot more attached to the year it's coming out than previous Bishop Nehru albums have been. But that's all to kind of say that like
well, Never Slow is my favorite. The last song on this album, fantastic ender. It's that mixing old Bishop Nehru with new Bishop Nehru and making it into like a perfect ending for an album. Absolutely love it. Meathead with MF Doom is interesting. I really like Bishop Nehru's part on it. The production, it just sounds super MF Doomy.
Yeah. Because he did produce that.
Yeah. I wish MF Doom wasn't on it, but the production of it was fantastic. Yeah, it felt, in the context of the album, it just felt kind of off.
Yeah, it felt like we're doing an unnecessary callback to Nehruvian Doom.
Yeah, exactly. In a different, like in Elevators, that's fine. But in the context of this, it felt a little out of place in that part. But the second half of the song, Nehru's part is fantastic, and I like one part where he said, it was something along the lines of like, I might as well go to hell because Earth ain't so much different, something like that.
There are a couple bars in there, and it's interesting because like Bishop Nehru, he occupies this different space among rap artists where he's like kind of positive and uplifting without necessarily only talking about like happy things. He talks about very dark subjects. It's not necessarily PG rated rap music or anything, but you also notice it's very like little to none of the usual sort of like trapping bitches and hoes.
No, not at all. And he's one of my favorite because of that. Elevators Acts 1 and 2 is still going to be one of my favorite rap albums of the past 10 years.
And it's my favorite Bishop Nehru album, and I like it more than this.
100% more. This is not saying that this isn't good.
But I would say, and I thought about this specifically, my favorite songs on Elevators Acts 1 and 2, which definitely benefited from the fact that it was short, so there were fewer songs to choose from. Those songs could shine, and so many more of those songs are my favorites. One's like Game of Life, one's like Up and Away with Lion Babe, one's like Potassium.
Driftin' is still my favorite.
Yeah.
For Act 1 and 2. Holy shit.
And even with that one, like Driftin', No More, and Game of Life in the beginning were kind of like the sadder, more mellow songs in there. It's a thing Bishop Nehru does, where I get it. The songs that are on this album, Disregarded Thoughts, that I really like, Emperor, Me and My Thoughts, Carefree Black Boy, they're also like some of my best Bishop Nehru songs. I think those songs are quality, but as an album, this album needed a bit more focus. It's a good showcase for what Bishop Nehru does, and I really, really hope that he starts to collaborate with more of like contemporary artists. I think that'll allow him to grow a lot more, and that'll allow him to like build his audience and also find other like-minded rappers to do with. It'll keep him fresh. It'll like challenge him on.
I even want him to just go out and venture out and do something random, like get in a random electronic music producer to have a song. I think it would be funny and wild.
He and Earl Sweatshirt should just like fuck around.
Dude, that would be wild.
Yeah,
I'm down. Because the thing with Nehru is that his lyrics are amazing. They're just
his lyrics are amazing. I think he needs to also experiment more with different kinds of flows. Because I was about to say, yeah. I think his song construction is getting a little bit sort of stale. It's very sort of like chorus driven more than a lot of rap music is, and it's a pattern that he's done since like his early EPs as well, at least like 5 years ago. So there's definitely room for improvement here. It's a good album, but like I had quite a lot of thoughts about it, as I sort of alluded to.
Yeah, it's good though. I like it.
Yes.
Arbitrary Scale.
Planes. Can you pick one?
Yeah, this is.
I got one.
Which one?
I'll go with the XB70 Valkyrie.
That's okay. So that's what I did on the last album. So.
It got 6 engines. It has 14 nukes.
What?
Yeah, it has 14.
Yeah,
nukes.
that's the one I did for the other album.
Oh, for Colonies.
For Colonies, because
Yeah.
that's right. It's gorgeous. It's a gorgeous plane, but like, never really worked. Oops. This is gonna be the YF-12, which is the precursor to the which is the I think it's the 2-seat version of the SR-71. So it's one of the very early versions of the fastest plane ever because this album is like, it's good, it has some fluff in it, but it's not ready for operational service just yet.
Right.
There you go.